Don't waste your life. Not because life is long, but because it's brutally short. One day you will wake up and realize that time did not slow down for your excuses, your fears, or your procrastination. Time does not negotiate. It only moves forward. And the question you must ask yourself, quietly, honestly, without applause, is this: what am I doing with the days I've been given? Many people confuse being busy with being purposeful. They move, but they are not progressing. They talk, but they are not building. They dream, but they are not acting. Potential feels good because it carries no responsibility. You can admire it, talk about it, even boast about it, without ever paying the price required to fulfill it. But potential that is not acted upon does not inspire the world. It haunts the individual who carries. Life rewards courage, not comfort. If you are always choosing what is easy, understand that ease has a cost, and that cost is growth. Pain, discipline, and failure are not signs that you are losing. They are signs that you are being shaped. Every meaningful life is forged under pressure. Diamonds are not created in comfort. Neither are leaders, thinkers, or fulfilled human beings. At some point, you must stop blaming circumstances and start accepting responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden, it is power. The moment you say, "This is on me," you take control back from the world. No more waiting for permission. No more hoping someone notices your talent. The world does not owe you recognition. It responds to consistency, excellence, and commitment. And let's talk about fear, because fear is not your enemy. Fear is information. It tells you where your growth is. What ruins lives is not fear itself, but obedience to it. Every time you choose fear over action, you trade your future for temporary relief. Every time you act despite fear, you reclaim a piece of your destiny. One day, your life will speak for you. Not your intentions, not your excuses, your actions. The question is whether that voice will say, "I tried," or "I waited." Don't waste your life waiting for the perfect moment. The moment is now. The responsibility is yours. The time is already moving. Time is the most non-renewable asset you will ever possess, and wasting it is the greatest form of self-betrayal, because time does not return, does not apologize, and does not slow down for anyone. Money can be earned again, mistakes can be corrected, relationships can sometimes be rebuilt, but a wasted day is gone forever. Each morning you wake up with a silent gift, 24 hours of possibility. How you spend those hours quietly shapes who you become. Most people don't lose their lives all at once. They lose them slowly, through distraction, delay, and the false belief that there will always be more time later. The danger is not that life ends suddenly, but that it passes unnoticed. People assume tomorrow is guaranteed, so they postpone growth, postpone courage, postpone discipline. They tell themselves they'll start when conditions are perfect, when confidence arrives, when motivation feels stronger. But time does not wait for readiness. Readiness is built by action, not by waiting. Every moment you delay, you are making a decision, whether you realize it or not. Inaction is still a choice, and it carries consequences just as real as action. Wasting time is not always obvious. It often looks harmless. Endless scrolling, empty conversations, comfort routines that numb ambition. These things don't feel dangerous in the moment, but over years they quietly drain your potential. One day you look back and realize that the gap between who you are and who you could have been was created not by tragedy, but by neglect, by small decisions repeated daily, by underestimating the value of an ordinary day. Time is valuable precisely because it is limited. Scarcity gives meaning. If life were endless, urgency would disappear and purpose would fade. The awareness that your time is finite is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to focus you. It forces you to ask hard questions. What deserves my energy? What is worth my attention? What habits are moving me forward? And which ones are quietly stealing my future? To honor time is to live intentionally. It means choosing growth over comfort, focus over distraction, purpose over impulse. When you respect time, you respect yourself. And when you stop wasting time, life doesn't suddenly become easy, but it becomes meaningful, because you are no longer just passing through your days. You are building something that justifies the time you've been given. Potential is one of the most misunderstood ideas in human life. People praise it, admire it, and speak of it as if it were an achievement. But potential by itself is nothing more than possibility. It is unproven, unfinished, and unpaid for. Having talent does not entitle you to success, respect, or fulfillment. The world does not reward what you could do, it rewards what you consistently do. This is where many lives quietly stall, at the comfort of knowing they are capable, without ever enduring the discomfort of proving it. Discipline is the bridge between potential and reality. It is not glamorous, and it rarely feels inspiring. Discipline means showing up on the days when motivation is absent, when progress feels invisible, and when no one is watching. Sacrifice is its companion. You cannot become something extraordinary while clinging to every comfort. Growth always demands that something be left behind. Old habits, easy pleasures, familiar identities. The question is not whether sacrifice is required, but whether you are willing to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term relief. Daily action is what gives potential a pulse. Small, intentional actions repeated over time create momentum, and momentum reshapes identity. You do not rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your habits. Every disciplined choice is a quiet vote for the person you are becoming. Every excuse is a vote for staying the same. Over time, these votes accumulate into a life that either reflects courage or regret. Psychologically, relying on potential can be dangerous because it creates a false sense of security. People tell themselves, I could succeed if I wanted to, and that belief protects the ego from failure. But it also protects you from growth. Failure, when pursued honestly, is not humiliation, it is education. It teaches you where your weaknesses are, where your discipline needs strengthening, and where your commitment is shallow. Avoiding action to avoid failure is the most reliable way to guarantee both. A fulfilled life is not built on what you were born with, but on what you were willing to work for. Potential only matters when it is converted into effort, discipline, and sacrifice. Otherwise, it becomes a burden you carry. A reminder not of what you achieved, but of what you were afraid to attempt. Comfort is seductive because it feels safe, familiar, and reassuring. It convinces you that staying where you are is reasonable, even wise. But comfort has a hidden cost. It slowly shrinks your world. When you choose comfort repeatedly, you trade growth for predictability, and over time that trade dulls ambition. A life built entirely on comfort may feel peaceful on the surface, but beneath it lies a quiet dissatisfaction, the awareness that you are capable of more, yet unwilling to stretch. Growth does not occur in ease, it occurs in resistance. Just as muscles strengthen by being stressed, the human mind and character develop through challenge. Struggle is not evidence that something is wrong. It is evidence that something is changing. Every obstacle forces you to confront your limitations, and in doing so teaches you where discipline, patience, and resilience must be developed. Without struggle, there is no feedback, and without feedback, there is no improvement. Psychologically, struggle plays a crucial role in shaping identity. When you overcome difficulty, you don't just solve a problem, you redefine who you believe yourself to be. Confidence is not built by positive thinking alone, it is built by evidence. Each time you endure discomfort and survive it, your brain records proof that you are capable of more than you thought. This is how self-belief becomes grounded in reality rather than illusion. Avoiding struggle, on the other hand, weakens you. It reinforces the belief that discomfort is dangerous, that failure is fatal, and that effort should be avoided. Over time, this mindset creates fragility. Minor setbacks feel overwhelming, criticism feels threatening, and uncertainty feels unbearable. Comfort, when overindulged, does not protect you. It makes you less prepared for life's inevitable challenges. Struggle is a teacher that cannot be replaced. It teaches humility by reminding you that mastery takes time. It teaches patience by forcing you to endure progress that feels slow and uncertain. It teaches purpose by clarifying what you are willing to fight for. The most meaningful lessons in life are rarely learned when things are easy. They are learned when quitting would be simpler, but you choose to continue. A life that avoids struggle may look smooth, but it lacks depth. A life that embraces struggle gains strength, clarity, and direction. Growth demands discomfort, and character is built where comfort ends. Responsibility is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. Too often, people drift through existence blaming circumstances, other people, or fate for their struggles and shortcomings. It feels easier to point fingers than to take ownership. But in doing so, you surrender control over your own life. True power is found in accepting that your life is the sum of your choices and that every outcome, good or bad, starts with you. When you stop blaming and start owning, you reclaim the one thing no one can take from you: agency. Owning your life means acknowledging that excuses are nothing more than distractions from reality. Every time you say, I can't because of this, or if only that hadn't happened, You give away a portion of your future. Circumstances shape the terrain, but they do not determine your path. The person who refuses to take responsibility may find temporary comfort in avoidance, but they also guarantee a life of unfulfilled potential. Responsibility does not remove hardship, but it allows you to confront hardship on your terms. It turns obstacles into challenges to overcome, rather than walls that trap you. There is a psychological freedom in responsibility that most people overlook. When you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for permission, validation, or external conditions to be favorable. You understand that action, not approval, is what moves life forward. You become proactive rather than reactive. You learn to solve problems, manage your emotions, and navigate uncertainty because you recognize that the outcome is yours to influence. This mindset transforms fear into strategy and hesitation into momentum. Responsibility also clarifies priorities. It forces you to ask difficult questions. What am I willing to do for my future? What am I willing to sacrifice? Which habits, behaviors, or relationships are holding me back? The answers to these questions define the trajectory of your life. People who avoid responsibility often find themselves at the mercy of circumstances they could have influenced, living a life shaped by others rather than designed by themselves. Ultimately, responsibility is the foundation of purpose. Purpose cannot exist without ownership, because purpose requires deliberate action, sustained effort, and accountability. You cannot talk about meaning while deflecting blame, because meaning is built in the space where action meets accountability. Every time you choose responsibility over avoidance, you are choosing to create rather than consume, to lead rather than drift, to live intently, only rather than reactively. Owning your life is not easy, but it is the only path to genuine freedom, achievement, and fulfillment. Legacy is not something you plan for in speeches or dreams. It is something you build in the quiet, unseen moments of your life. It is not defined by the accolades you receive, the social media posts you accumulate, or the applause of others. Legacy is measured by consistency, by the integrity of your actions, and by the choices you make when no one is watching. Every small decision, every repeated habit, contributes to a story that will outlast you. The question is whether that story will reflect courage, purpose, and intentionality, or regret, distraction, and wasted potential. Many people live as though legacy is irrelevant, focusing on short-term gratification instead of long-term impact. They wait for life to hand them recognition, hoping that their worth will be validated externally. But legacy is never given. It is earned day by day through disciplined action, responsibility, and the relentless pursuit of what matters most. What you do in private when no one is looking matters infinitely more than what you do in public, because over time, your private choices define your public story. Psychologically, the awareness of legacy gives life urgency and depth. It forces you to ask difficult questions. Am I living in a way that future generations or even the future version of myself would respect? Am I investing my time, energy, and talent into things that truly matter? Or am I squandering the most precious resource I have, my life? The realization that your actions echo beyond the present moment transforms your perspective. It moves you from passive existence to active creation. Legacy also requires courage, because it asks you to act not for immediate reward, but for enduring impact. It demands that you resist the temptation to settle, to compromise, or to follow the easy path. It reminds you that the life you leave behind is constructed in the daily choices you make, the work you do, the character you cultivate, and the discipline you maintain, even when it feels inconvenient. Ultimately, legacy is about accountability to yourself. It is the standard by which you measure your own life, not by comparison to others, but against your highest potential. Every moment wasted, every fear that keeps you from action, every compromise that betrays your values diminishes the story you will leave behind. Conversely, every moment lived with intention, courage, and purpose strengthens it. To honor your life is to honor the legacy that only you can create. Time moves forward regardless, but your actions, your legacy can ripple far beyond it, shaping the world in ways only you have the power to influence.